Friday, a beautiful Friday in beautiful Flagler County, Palm Coast, Bunnell. Right, Alvin Jackson?
Yes, sir. You're in the best little city in the country.
All right, and a big city, right? Third biggest city in Florida.
Yes.
So, anyway, as far as square miles go, we got a lot to talk about today. We actually have a lot of good things to talk about today, and a couple of things I've got to go, what's going on here with the city, the county? Alvin's going to give us an update on Bunnell. Lots of projects, so many good things going on that, that's what today's show is all about, right? You agree with that, Brian?
Happy to be here, David.
By the way, I got a call from Roy Seeger, and he says, hey, he goes, Luke, remember we were gossiped about celebrity, like Mark Zuckerberg flew in here, and he said, Luke Bryan, well, he comes here rather often, so he sent me a picture of him and Luke Bryan at the airport. And I go, oh, that's cool. Can I share it? And he goes, yeah, you can. So we posted it on our Kicks Country. Luke Bryan's a country star. And put it on our Facebook page. 600,000 views on it. And he calls me. He goes, what the hell are you doing? He goes, he goes, when I said you could share it, I thought you were just going to show it to some people around the radio station. And I'm like, Roy, in this day and age, share means share. So, but I thought it was great publicity for the Flagler Executive Airport. And, it's like so cool. It's an area of commerce. We're going to talk about that with the businesses and jobs and things. And it's an economic machine. Also joining us, other than our city manager for Bunnell, our city manager for the city of Palm Coast, Lauren Johnston. Hello.
Good morning, David. And
you're going to update us on all different kinds of things breaking. Heiti Petito, and with your lieutenant there, Jorge Salinas. You guys all went to Tallahassee trying to bring back some bread for us here in Flagler County. Good morning, Heidi.
Good morning, David.
Heidi's our administrator, and Jorge Salinas, good to always have you. Always
good morning, David.
Great insights. And, of course, we cannot forget Brian McMillan, our publisher of the Palm Coast Observer.
And David Ayers, the illustrious president.
Thank you. All right.
Flagler nice. Radio.
So your paper with the fake, the April Fool's thing. So I always
some people haven't. Some people don't know that.
Well,
yet.
I tested it on my wife. I go, hey, here's the paper. Read it. And she goes, oh, okay. So and I go, did you notice anything different about it? No. So anyway, hey, we're going to go to Tallahassee right now. We've got a busy guy, Sam Greco, our state representative, number 19. And Sam, I know you met with a lot of our government officials here that are in the studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, David. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we've had a busy few weeks in Tallahassee and had the pleasure of seeing Heidi, Lauren, and a number of the city councilmen and county commissioners in the state capitol over the past couple weeks.
So they're over there to lobby you, right?
Well, they're over there to talk to us about the priorities of the cities and counties and make sure that I understand what's happening on the ground and how I can be most effective on the state level to bring back policy and resources that are going to allow Flagler County and our municipalities to keep moving forward.
So they come over and they go, hey, Sam Greco, we really need help with this and we really need help with that and everything, and we could have matching funds and we have skin in the game and all those sort of things to it, but you have to go to fight for us for the dollars that are very competitive in the budget this year, right?
Well, that's right. But what you just mentioned there about having matching funds and skin in the game really makes a difference when I go and talk with the various appropriations committees about our priorities here in the district, and I can say, if you give us X amount, we're going to match it with Y amount, and it's really going to move the ball forward on the projects that we need to get done. So having that involvement from the county, from the municipality is so important. And for me to have the anecdotal evidence to go and explain where the pressure points are that we can help alleviate with state resources, that's really helpful as I go advocate for those dollars.
Well, they came and expressed their priorities for the Heidi, for the county, and then Lauren and some city council people for Palm Coast. So what did you take away from the visit with Heidi Petito, our county administrator, on their? What is it that you're thinking? Like, yeah, I really need to do what I can for this one. What would be your priorities?
Well, like I said, I really trust the input from the folks who are on the ground engaging with it, our commissioners and our managers, both on the cities and county level. But with Heidi and with the county commissioners, we spoke about some really exciting. Need to be adjusted. Do you have me?
Yeah, we lost you for a second, but you're back.
Some of the really exciting potential that Flagler County has to continue to be a destination for folks to want to come visit and enjoy our natural spaces. We've got some certainly on the Atlantic coast of Florida some very unique environment, whether that's oceanfront or otherwise. And so we're looking at how we can continue to expand those resources and access to some of our natural tourism, both for folks who, of course, are living in the county and folks who want to come and be a part of it, as well as, of course, some resiliency and infrastructure projects that, I know are across the board, county and city level, that are so important. So those are some of the takeaways that I had, meeting with the folks from the county.
So you feel that what we're asking for is sellable this year?
It's still early days. So far, I think we've received some good indications on some of these projects, but still early days. We're just now receiving the initial subcommittee budget numbers, and that'll flow up to the full appropriations committee, then to the House floor. Of course, the Senate has to work its process. When those budgets ultimately, are different in various ways, then we'll have to conference them together, come up with a unified budget, pass it through both houses of the legislature, and then get it to the governor's desk, and hopefully have him sign off on that. So early days still, but certainly I think that we've had a lot of great input from the county and from the cities, and I think we understand what the priorities are, and working very hard to bring those home.
All right, Lauren Johnston is here. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yes, thank you, David. I just wanted to say thank you, Representative Greco. In meeting with you and understanding, he really knows what is happening in Palm Coast and, the infrastructure needs that we have. And so putting in our key projects for utility and stormwater, we're very appreciative of that. And then just the sincerity that he shared with us about caring for former council member Stevens, who is still recovering, and just that he wished him well. So thank you for your sincerity, and thank you for everything for Palm Coast.
All right, great. Anyway, Heidi Petito, our Flagler County Administrator, would say something. You got something for Sam? I know you have a question or something.
I just want to say, basically echo what Lauren had said. We really appreciated the time with you and appreciated the support that you're showing Flagler County, especially with the Regional Trails and Conservation Center. I know it was unfortunate that Commissioner Pennington couldn't be there with us, and I know that you shared your support and condolences on the passing of her husband. But just wanted to say thank you for everything that you're doing for our community. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with you and the support that you provide.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, and certainly the feeling is mutual, and I'm really excited about what I think we have the opportunity to bring back from the state level to Flagler County and our cities, and to keep moving the ball forward on all the exciting potential we have here.
Just not to be rude, but Alvin Jackson, our Bunnell, or Dr. Alvin Jackson is here. But you're not asking for anything this year.
No, not this year. We're trying to finish up all the blessings that we got from the state right now in our constructions. Right. Once again, you weren't there, Senator, but we really appreciate your continued support.
Doctor, just I know that the city just received $3 million in grant money from the state, so I was excited to see that project get approved through the grant process, and look forward to seeing that work get conducted in the city.
And once again, we really appreciate your support along those lines too. It really helps with the funding towards the construction of the new wastewater plant.
Well, so everybody,
Absolutely.
so Sam Greco, everybody comes to you like, hey, well, let me ask, what can we do? What can we do for Sam Greco? What can your district do to help you accomplish anything? Or, well, I'm just asking.
Well, what I communicated to the folks who when we met in Tallahassee was that when we get in the middle of the session, obviously it's busy and we're focused on a lot of different things across the state. It's really, really helpful for me to have an update on what's happening on the ground in the district, so that I know as policies shift and change and things are added or removed, how I can most effectively advocate for our district. So I would just say, always keep in touch with me and my office, and let us know what is happening on the ground that we need to be aware of as we continue to try to bring everything back, dollars, policy, and otherwise, to the district.
All right. Anything? I appreciate every other week Sam has agreed to call in with his legislative update and let us know what's going on. Anything else before we let you get on with your day there, Representative Greco?
Look forward to talking with you in a couple weeks, and hope everybody has a great weekend in Flagler County.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Very good. So anyway, so that's good. You guys felt positive, Lauren and Heidi, that when you left there, that it was worth the trip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always is.
Okay.
Yeah, not only did we meet with our state legislatures, Representative Greco and Senator Leek, we also met with DEP and had some really good conversations with them about the various grant opportunities and how what key projects we should target certain grants. So the availability of having additional funds come through in the future is also very beneficial.
So do you feel like do you feel more optimistic then about getting, because I know the city just passed utility rates, delaying $140 million of projects with maybe the hope that some more state money could come in and help, make up the difference in that. Do you feel like there's more of a chance of that now than you did before, and if so, why?
Yes, I do. They were specifically mentioning, I know we've talked about the conversion to AWT, and
advanced wastewater treatment?
Yes, and the state is targeting that, right, because it eliminates contaminants into bodies of water, right? And so by having that advanced treatment, they want to give you money to help that along. So we had to remove it out of the utility rate analysis, but having a grant opportunity in the future, we're definitely going to apply as soon as it opens.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I think, there's books and books of facts that were presented, in all those presentations, but that's another consequence, really, of, yes, we're saving money, and that's a really great thing for the residents. But one of the things we're saving money for is, therefore, we're not doing the advanced treatment, and therefore it's not quite as environmentally friendly. It's still meeting standards, but it's not as clean of water that we're emitting or discharging anymore, or not as much as it could be.
Correct.
I have a question here because I'm not so sure I understand. Remember, we had Councilman Gambaro on, and he was talking. Is this what we're talking about, the holding tank, or no?
That's
a
another
different project.
That's another thing.
Which Representative Greco did submit that into a bill, and it is in the budget currently, fingers crossed, for that EQ tank, and it's about a 6 million gallon tank. And what it would do is hold the water back from immediately going to the plant. So, during Milton, we had like 22 million gallons going to the plant per day, right? With this tank, we could hold that back and then allow it to come in over time.
So that's a brilliant idea that I was like, wow, how come, because, so basically, our problem with overcapacity is groundwater seeping into the treatment plant
Yes.
during like we did with the hurricane.
Intrusion.
So if we don't have that, we eliminate that, which this holding tank would do.
Yes.
We're good with capacity right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, all those things. And
right.
we've got, wastewater treatment plant 2 expanding to an additional 2 million gallons here in the next couple of weeks. We're undergoing the final process of that completion of that project. So we're
Been
moving.
hearing that for a long time now.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much we want to talk about wastewater this morning,
We
but
don't. Well, we are going to talk about this Belvedere, the gas, the terminal, and everything, but and rail. But I wanted to get with Alvin Jackson here because, Alvin, you're big on rail. You were involved with the state, with the whole rail systems and all that, and you know a lot about it. And to me, that's a real asset that Flagler County has. We have a rail going right through this whole county, and this so the story. Tell us, in either one of you take it, and tell us the story about the Belvedere terminals. It's a depot and distribution for gasoline, right? So tell us the proposal, where they're proposing it, and go from there. Heiti, Petito.
Well, when we were in Tallahassee, similar to what Lauren had said, we actually spent some time with the Department of Commerce, Deputy Secretary Jason Mahon, which is the department that actually brought this project forward to Flagler County through a legislative appropriation. Through that legislative appropriation, they had outlined about $10 million to go for this particular project, and that project needed to be located within this region between the Flagler, Volusia, and Brevard area. It's a logistical supply, so when they're looking at the other locations, it was important that it remain in that area. So we had a great conversation with Deputy Secretary when we were up there. It is a fuel terminal, Belvedere. We did a meeting yesterday with some of the media to share the progress and where we're at. So it is a company that is looking to build some infrastructure here. The land or the state grants about $10 million, and then their investment somewhere between $75 and $80 million. So combined total is going to be, based on that, about $90 million. It is something that is currently in the works. They're doing the design, preliminary design right now of the site. They had located an industrial site in Palm Coast. It's along the rail off of PB grade, and we've been working with them to move that project forward through that state appropriation or that grant. That's the first piece that'll come to the county. Through legislature, it was earmarked to go to a county, so that's where we come into this.
So, and rail is key because that's how they would get the gas by rail and unload it into trucks that would take it to the gas stations and then fill it up for us. So that would kind of guarantee us some gas security if there was ever a time like, you don't remember the 70s. I know you weren't born then, Brian, but when we had gas lines and the shortages. So I think that's a good thing for it to be. But why there? I mean, we've got rail all the way through this county. Why next to our wastewater treatment plant? There's great housing developments going out there. I mean, in Pierre, his thing said like 17 or something tanks the size of the Palm Coast Water Tower.
Yeah, I don't think that that's what they're planning on, but it is important, I think, to the region. When you look at the state of Florida and you look at the supply chain and where that fuel comes from across the Gulf, it is dependent on the weather. So when you have storms and you have weather events, those ships cannot come into the port to deliver fuel, which is a problem because in the state of Florida, typically you only have a day or two of fuel supply. With this project, you are creating more inventory, more capacity. So in the region, you'll now end up having between 7 and 10 days of fuel supply. And it is important, I think, when you look at the number of trucks that are on the highway, you're now bringing fuel into an area in a much safer environment by rail and being able to provide maybe just that last couple mile for delivery. You're lessening the risk of having these trucks out on the highway. And it does help our economy. It creates jobs. It creates a tax base. There will also be an impact on the local, fuel cost. So there's a lot of benefits to the community of having this.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to echo, its location, right? I think we all know in Flagler County and especially in Palm Coast, industrial zone land is very limited. And so there's not a whole lot of opportunity, and zoned industrial and near a rail that, further narrows it down. But, it's a current dump site, right? So you're replacing, a dump site with this economic driver, if you will. So, it's kind of off the beaten path. It's over near going to be our future maintenance operations center. And then we as the city also have an industrial site, Track 17, that we're trying to get off the ground to get more sites and buildings.
But this is over by Sawmill Creek, right, where the development is? Is that
It's about 3 miles south
3 miles south of that?
of Sawmill, but
all
it
right.
is closer to the KB Home Somerset area. Like I drove over there yesterday on my way home, and there's a lot of land that's being cleared for further development. That I don't know exactly how close, but it does seem fairly close there. But it's interesting when you go down that road. Like, it is the worst paved road in Palm Coast, I would say. It's actually called a grade. It's super, it's made for. It screams industrial, I guess, is what I would say when you drive down there. It's easy to miss. There's the signs for the treatment plants. You drive down the road, and it's got the maintenance operations center lot cleared. It's going to be a huge facility there for utilities. Then you have the wastewater treatment plant, and you have the dump, and you have the water treatment, and then it dead ends at the railroad tracks. But as I was thinking this, and there's a lot of Facebook comments already on the Flagler Live story and the story that I published yesterday, that talks about people kind of concerned, like, why would they put this next to a water treatment facility? And
so why would you? Somebody answer. That's a good question.
Well, the thing that I've been thinking about since then is, why would you put a wastewater treatment plant next to a water facility? That's been there for I don't know how many years, decades. There's been a water treatment facility right next to a sewer plant. And next to a dump for a long time. So we're kind of, as a community, basically okay with that. Why is that? Because we know that they're regulated, and there's security, there's staff that knows what they're doing. And there hasn't been sewage leaks into the water treatment facility. It's kind of under control, and no one even thinks about it. So this is going to be basically another facility out there that is on zoned land, highly regulated. So I think in that sense, we just need to make sure that those facts are present there. But a lot of people, you see, that's the first reaction, like, fuel next to water, bad idea. And a lot of people already are kind of like making that point. And so I think that, to me, this is an opportunity. And I think Belvedere, if they're smart, they need to be extremely clear about why they feel so confident that it's going to be a safe facility, because that is the first place that people go in their minds. I asked yesterday in the interview, like, there's going to be a non-permeable membrane underneath the bedrock in the whole facility is going to be in like this bowl with a berm,
like a liner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that needs to be like front and center. We need to be seeing that for our own eyes. We need to be seeing it, because people need to be convinced that this is going to be okay. The guy, Tim Schwartz from Belvedere, yesterday said, if there is, and it's highly unlikely, probably never going to happen, but if there were some kind of catastrophic event with these storage tanks.
You mean like it blows up?
Yeah. Well, he didn't say that, but that would be catastrophic. He said that they have engineered it to where that no effects would be felt beyond the limits of their property. That sounds great, and I would love to believe that, and I don't have any reason not to. But again, more detail about that to reassure people who live, the nearest nearby there would, I think, be really helpful.
So why was that such an attractive site? Just because it was zoned that way? Because, what's wrong with 50, like Favoretta that way, so they could use the, that, because they're making massive changes to that interchange on I-95, because obviously they want to get the trucks to 95. So what would be wrong with doing it on the south end? There's the rail tracks, and there's nobody out there. Favoretta.
Hey, David, I believe the main reason is because of the amount of acreage they can get, and besides the zoning for industrial, the amount of acreage they can get and how close they can get to the rail is one of the reasons why they selected this site. The other thing I wanted to add, when Brian was talking about the road that is a gravel road, one of the things they also are going to do is improve that road. They're going to be creating a turn lane into US 1, and also if the traffic analysis merits it, they're going to actually provide some traffic light, so allow the trucks to safely exit that facility. The other thing is moving south, it's about a half-mile drive from the location to the nearest home. Distance-wise, as the crow flies, is a little bit less, but driving is about half-mile to the southern part of the other community.
So what would people see that build a new home in the KB there? What visibly would they see when they look out their kitchen window with this?
They plan to do some hedge to actually block the visibility of what these tanks look like. One other thing I wanted to mention, besides the membrane that they're going to be implementing in their lot where they're going to do the construction, all the tanks are above ground, and they also have some concrete containers to prevent up to a capacity, certain capacity in case there was a leak. So that is also another mitigation factor to not allow any spillage or leak to go into the ground. Plus, they have all these multiple sensors. It's a high-tech implementation of how to work with this fuel depot, but they have multiple sensors monitor 24 hours a day that go to multiple locations in case there's a leak or anything like that. So it will be prevented.
So would there be all that gas, would there be a smell in the air?
No smell. No smell.
Tim Schwartz, again, the CFO from Belvedere, he said that the EPA limits your possible emissions at these kind of coupling areas to 0.1 parts per million, and their engineering is 0.01 parts per million. I don't know if that means you cannot smell it or not. I think that's a good question. Another thing that I thought was interesting that Mr. Schwartz said is that the way it would be set up is the trains would come in on the tracks that are already there. They would get off on a spur that's about a mile long, and it would slow down to the train would be going at walking speed, like a human being walking speed, as it's easing in and then unloading. And that, to me, also, as I picture that, I'm kind of thinking, okay, what are the chances of a problem there? That does make it seem like it's much lower if you're talking about something easing in at that kind of a speed with, again, engineers, and it's all coupled, and high-tech tanks and everything else. I mean, the way he's describing it, there's certainly a lot of detail. They spent millions and millions of dollars to engineer it for safety above and beyond what they're required. But yeah, again, the question
and
is...
they're working on
yeah.
3 of these, and he mentioned yesterday that they're working with the city of Jacksonville, and the city of Jacksonville gave them $1 million incentive.
Yeah.
So they're definitely competing for this business.
Is rail spurs are some, Alvin, there's one in Bunnell, right? A rail spur?
That's correct.
Is it used?
No.
Okay, why not?
Well, as I listen to this exciting project, I once again think about our rails. It's a really untapped economic gem that we have here in Flagler County, and in particular in Bunnell. And so it's exciting to hear that someone is seeing value in that. Also, we probably this week will be receiving an application towards the Favoretta area. We've been dealing with a landowner and developer that's looking at an intermodal center that's right close to the rail. So,
and that's in the city of Bunnell.
What do you mean by intermodal center?
Well, basically what happens is that we call it inland port. Inland port. Basically, the port fees are so expensive to store. And so throughout Florida, what they've looked for is areas that they can move the crates from the port to an inlet port. And then what happens is, similar to the gas, then it's trucked to where it needs to go in the area. And what tends to happen around these type centers is that it becomes such an economic synergy because you have assembling manufacturers, because a lot of the stuff that comes from across the water comes in parts, so it needs to be assembled. And so for us to have at least 2 or 3 interests in this untapped jewel is awesome, because the overall economic impact, the multiplier is awesome.
So could there be, okay, we'll say, people are going to obviously protest saying we don't want this here and whatever, but then we'll go from there. But if it happens and there's a rail spur for them, would that also be kind of the groundwork for other industries to utilize and maybe have a spur from the spur or utilize that spur or something? I mean, would that kind of seed economic development in that area for, like Alvin saying, like manufacturing or assembly or something?
I think there's a potential for that, and one of the reasons is because their utilization of this spur is going to be, they're planning to bring trains once a week. Mm-hmm. So there's other days of the week that this might be available.
Correct.
And can actually create some synergy for other industries to come in
Correct.
and use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and David, the city has Track 17, which is right near this location, it's very adjacent, and that is where we want to put some potential sites and buildings and work on bringing in manufacturing. Our economic development manager, Craig McKinney, has been going to many trade shows, space related. So, our overall strategy for economic vitality is working together within the community, with the county, with the city of Bunnell, because these things have community impacts, right? And so we really need to hone in on what the data shows us. And we know that for Palm Coast, in our recent citizen survey, that 91%, in a rating that we scaled 91% of importance for economic vitality, right? But our quality is only 46%. So we have a huge gap there where we are trying to move the needle on improving, services. So, the fueling terminal, Belvedere, this is just one of many projects that you're going to see unfold over the next couple of weeks and months. And, these projects take time, but we want to make sure the community knows that we are focused on trying to bring in jobs, bring in that capital investment, and really a mission of offsetting our tax base so that we're not reliant on our residential taxes.
Well, I think like Brian said, it's smart to get ahead of the narrative. As opposed to what, and then you got all the naysayers and all this kind of stuff, and next thing you know, you're fighting, through all that to it. So I give Belvedere credit for coming forward and saying, this is it. These are the things that you're gonna say you don't like, but this is how we're dealing with them before they come forward with it.
Yeah. The other thing is, I remember in the first year or so when I moved here in 2010. There was a economic development summit, and you had all the county officials, all the city officials, all the Bunnell officials, everyone in one big workshop, and there was they were trying to solve a big problem that the community had, which is our residents pay about 90% of their of the total amount of money that the governments need to operate. And only 10% is paid by industry and commercial. And that's way out of whack for most healthy communities. And we've been talking about that ever since. So now it's 15 years later, and we're still talking about how residents are paying 90%. And the only thing that can happen, if you look 20 years in the future, we're going to have to keep raising taxes to pay for stuff because residents are expensive to care for. So the only way to stop tax increases, or to at least limit them as much as possible, is to balance that out. You know, if we could be 80-20, we would still be not nearly what other communities are, but it'd be a lot better. And something like this is exactly that type of thing. I think it was Jason DiLorenzo who said this, but that property that Belvedere is talking about is paying $7,000 in property taxes a year right now. Mm-hmm. And after it's developed, it would pay $800,000 a year in property taxes. And so you're talking about making a dent in that 90-10 split. And again, this is just one of, we talked about Project Magellan in recently, but that's another one. So I can't remember exactly how I did this math, but that we're talking about making a percentage or two at a time difference in that. But these kind of things, that's one of the reasons that I think it could help the community.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
Brian, the other thing is not only the ad valorem, but what we failed to do is really talk about the number of jobs. We do say X number of jobs, but what's associated with those jobs is a payroll. And when you talk about the payroll dollars, that total dollar amount, it's a big number. And those people buy fuel, they go to lunch, they buy homes, they shop at, and so it's a multiplying, and the typical multiplying is 2.5% turnover in your economy, and we have to show that end result of that number.
I think it's good that here before us today that it's the, Alvin with the city of Bunnell, the Palm Coast, and Heiti and Jorge here with the county and everything, to have the harmony that you guys, sit here and work together for something. Because couldn't it be competitive where it's like, oh my God, we got a lead. Let's not let Heidi know about it.
No.
No, I think that we all work together well, because at the end of the day, we're one community.
Correct.
And so I think, sometimes we all have to give and take to make it work. But at the end of the day, a rising tide lifts all ships.
Correct.
And we're all in it together. So
we want to stand together, all of us as our community, to fight against the other communities that will win these projects, right? So we want to act so that we don't lose. We want to win. We want to win in economic development, and you have to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's something that our residents expect from us. They don't see boundaries between cities and counties, so we have to work in harmony to do that. One other thing I wanted to add real quick about the economic development, moving that ratio between the 90-10, is that these folks bring jobs. They actually bring the tax base up. They pay more taxes, but they consume less resources than residential would. So that is another added benefit to this.
Okay. All right. Very good. We got to take a break so we can pay the light bill here and our taxes to the city of Bunnell. Woohoo. Well, we're happy to, as long as it's helping Alvin Jackson, right? We're there for you. We'll take a break. We'll be right back in the studio today. We have Alvin Jackson, Bunnell City Manager, Heiti Petito, our administrator for the County of Flagler, Lauren Johnston, Jorge, and also Brian McMillan, and way in the back there on the couch is Brittany Kershaw. We'll be right back.
Don't even think about climbing that ladder.
We got a guy that'll do it for you.
If you're going to do it right with Benjamin Moore.
We've got the professional painters and the best paint.
Benjamin Moore, corner of Old Kings and Utility Drive.
Palm Coast.
This is Donald Trump Jr. My father's fighting to put America first, but he cannot do it alone. That's why on April 1st, I'm asking you to send Randy Fine to Congress to secure the border, fix the broken Biden economy, and make America affordable again. It's the dawn of a new era in America. On April 1st, send Trump-endorsed Randy Fine to Congress.
I'm Randy Fine, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Randy Fine for Congress.
Hi, I'm Eddie Lang with Serenity Realty. We're teaming up with Ascent Homes to bring you brand new custom models, including the stunning multi-generational home, perfect for the whole family. Whether you're looking for luxury, flexibility, or a home built just for you, we can make your dream home a reality. Serenity Realty and Ascent Homes. Call me 386-221-2255.
It's going to be another scorcher today with highs in the 90s.
With my AC on the fritz, I need an SOS.
Did you say SOS? It's summer of savings at David Gray. Save on electrical, plumbing, and heating and air. DavidGrayHomeservices.com.
I won't do it.
He hates high-pressure salespeople.
I do.
A lot of people just have a leak when they call.
When all they need is a simple repair, and we're happy to do it.
Whatever's going on with your roof.
We'd be happy to come out and take a look.
But be sure to call us before we get busy with storm season.
But if it is time and you need a new roof and you're a little short on money,
don't worry, we got you covered. We have a no money down plan with payments of just $149 a month.
We're AK Certified Roofing in Palm Coast.
302-9063. AK Certified Roofing.
AK Certified Roofing. I met those people. They were in here at the radio station. Super nice, family owned, local, pay their taxes. And so if you need a roofer, give AK Certified a call. And they won't twist your arm. They promise that. I don't like being high pressured. Isn't that like an old school? Like, remember sales training, like back in the 50s and 60s, it was all about tricking people into things, you know, the Ben Franklin clothes and, you know, where you would, the puppy dog clothes, and you would go to sales seminars and things, and it was just tricking. I think today sales has come a long way where it's more focused on really just helping people and getting them something good. You agree with that?
I think so. I don't know anything about sales, unfortunately.
All right. Well, you won't be high pressured with the Palm Coast Observer.
No,
okay.
Sadly, we're pretty. We need to figure out our some high pressure strategies.
All right. Well, hey, if you just tuned in, we're in the studio. We're talking about our cities, Bunnell and Palm Coast, and our county, and some great things happening. We're going to be following, and there'll be the Belvedere terminals. You're going to hear a lot more about that, and we'll keep you posted on that. But I think it's great that it's using our rail, which is a real underutilized asset. And Alvin, we've talked about that for years.
Correct.
And so I'm sure you're happy with that. And you have a possible deal on the south end of the county,
correct,
off of US 1, using the rail as well. Right. So they're not putting in new railroad tracks, right?
No.
So utilize what we have. Okay, let's talk about the Project Magellan. Okay, I like the name. It sounds like a top secret campaign or something. Project Magellan. Go ahead and somebody, Heidi or Lauren, just give us a quick overview. What is Project Magellan?
So it's bringing in at least $500 million of CapEx, like 2,000 jobs. It's going to be a 500-acre project between, US 1 and Old Dixie Highway, but basically south of Matanzas Woods Parkway and north of Palm Coast Parkway. It's in what's been referred to as the 75 acres in the donut out west. But a really super cool project that's all non-residential. So that's important for changing that tax base, as Brian mentioned. And, tax revenues from that property could jump to about $20 million annually. So you're taking county-zoned ag land and now going to generate taxes upward of $20 million.
So kind of paint a picture. What would it look like? What's the architect rendition in your mind of the Magellan?
Beautiful, tranquil. It incorporates nature aspects into it, a high quality of life, recreational component, and super, super cool project. It would create about 2,000 jobs, and 500 of them would be full-time.
And this is separate from the Synergy, the sports complex.
It is separate. It would be complementary, but it is separate from the Synergy sports complex. And that project is actually coming back to the county commission on April 7th at the workshop.
Mm-hmm. I think just to clarify one thing, I think you said 75 acres, but the donut hole.
7,500
acres.
Yes.
This is a 500-acre project.
Correct.
Okay. Just want to double check that.
All right. So it takes some people a while to learn and catch on with things. The sports complex, kind of got nixed by the city of Palm Coast, and now it sounds like, the county may pick up the ball and run with it. Is that pretty accurate or what?
I don't know if it got nixed by the city of Palm Coast. We just we can't enter into that public-private partnership to do the lease purchase, but the need is still there, right? We see time and time again that we're a growing community, and more youth is getting into sports, and we even have recent need about getting sports out of some of our neighborhood parks. And the city and the county work together on that Planning Our Parks initiative, where we master planned what parks and facilities, and the community overwhelmingly supported a sports complex along with many other features.
Well, I mean, sports is a huge business with tourism.
Right.
I mean, would this be of the capability where people would come here from out of town, out of state?
Absolutely. This would be a 20 multi-purpose fields, 16 being artificial turf and 4 being grass fields. It'll have an indoor complex, very similar structure to what was proposed to the Palm Coast City Council, and now it'll go to the County Commission for us to try and continue to collaborate on this project.
So this company, Synergy, this is what they do, right?
This is what they do.
So they build them and operate them, build them, sell them? What's the business?
They build them and operate them. The city or the county gives the land, right? And then they take outside private investment dollars and sponsorship to build the facility. And then they use the payment on the facility from the operating costs. So they're charging the outside groups that are coming in, whether it's soccer or lacrosse. And then the facility itself pays for any type of debt or capital expenditures for the initial investment.
So if it happens and we have this in Flagler County, what's in it for the county? Where does the county, you donate the land, where's the payback for the county with that then?
Well, it's over a 30-year period that you're paying it back, and then the public would own the facility at the end of the 30 years. And in the meantime, you are filling a need for a growing community when you're looking at recreation and sports. And the unique thing about sports and league play is that it's one of the probably few areas that when you have an economic downturn, it typically doesn't suffer. You still see children playing sports and people traveling for their kids for those recreational opportunities.
So this would be great. So would we be able to repurpose some of our land where we have sports fields right now, like Indian Trails or something that...
Yes.
I mean, that's valuable land.
Well, we would repurpose the multi-purpose fields to baseball, softball, because Palm Coast Little League is growing, and their request is for additional fields. So that way we would have sort of this baseball, softball complex, and then out west we would have more of the traditional sports complex.
Okay.
So the land that you're talking about would be owned by the county. It wouldn't be like annexed into the city of Palm Coast.
It could be annexed into the city of Palm Coast. The unique thing is the county can own property in city limits. The city can't own property outside.
And this public-private partnership is already allowed for the county to enter into. Just the city charter doesn't allow the city to do it. So it would just all be handled by the county instead of the city at this point.
Correct.
Okay.
So it would become an asset for the county. At the end of the 30 years, you would own it, right?
Correct, right.
And in 30 years, a $110 million thing would probably be $1 gazillion.
And I think it provides a unique opportunity.
Just rounding it off.
Yeah, I think it provides a unique opportunity. I don't know if Lauren mentioned it, but what another part of that project is about 100,000 square foot facility where you essentially would have like 10 basketball courts, but it would be a perfect facility to be able to have high school graduations here within our own community rather than paying the Ocean Center in Volusia to bring them there.
Can we have or has there been, I missed it, a town hall meeting where people can see the plans and see what everybody's talking about?
For Synergy, they're actually coming on April 7th at a workshop to provide the overview of what this project is going to look like.
Oh, and they'll have graphics and visuals and renditions and things?
They will.
Oh, cool. Okay. And by the way, we're rebroadcasting your council meetings on our platforms as well, because I think the more people see what's going on in firsthand instead of who said, she said, I think that, and I think the more you can see firsthand and hear the people and see the people. So it's on our YouTube channel. We also stream it on our WNZF Facebook page. And we had hundreds of people that actually, watched it. And so we're going to be promoting more of that so you can just see firsthand. And in this way, you would see what we're talking about with the Synergy presentation. And that's going to be, what'd you say, April
7th.
April 7th.
April 7th. Okay. All right. That's pretty cool.
I definitely agree with you, David, about being more open and transparent government and trying to get and start reaching to the people. So, as part of this community strategy, whether it's town halls, we're going to have various focus groups. So for, Synergy specifically, we've already started meeting with the various sports groups, our Sports Alliance members, to highlight the benefits, because they're definitely knocking on our door of we're growing, we need more field space.
The YMCA, we've been hearing about it, talking about it. Are we getting closer to a reality? I think it would be in Town Center.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So
I'm excited to tell you that they're going to be coming to our evening workshop on April the 8th and sharing their proposal for us for Town Center with a pool.
Would this be like competitive size pool? Because it has to be certain dimensions for swim meets and things.
Yes, there is. The YMCA has a really good model or a prototype that they know that will be successful. And yes, it does come with that type of facility.
So the other old pools we have would be able to kibosh those and use the land for something else?
That is a subject for discussion, but we would want to make sure the pools are operational until another pool is constructed at the very least.
You want to buy a city pool, David?
Well, I have a pool, thank you. Hey, I wanted Alvin. I get your updates from the city of Bunnell on all the progress that you're doing, your 21 projects or whatever, and your communication is great, by the way. I appreciate that. But can you give us kind of a rundown on some of the good things that are happening and have happened in our city of Bunnell?
Well, let me just quickly say we do have a huge project going out west. It's about proposed 8,000 units, and I like to quantify really what that means and what we've negotiated with the developer. If our board agrees to it, it's about $185,900,000 in infrastructure improvements that would be actually handed over to the city, and that's new wastewater, water facility, roads, garbage trucks, etc. And with that project, it would be $41 million given to the school for school mitigation fees, and an estimated ad valorem of $20 million plus a negative, and annual utility collections of about $17 million. And so we're just we've met with the public, tried to be as transparent as possible. Traffic is always an issue, but I feel we'll be able to work through that.
So this is the reserve at Hawk Creek?
Yes.
How much of that property is, like, what percentage is residential versus other uses? And I know a lot of it's green.
Yeah, it's a mixed use. The commercial industrial is small. It's probably about 10%.
Okay.
But, basically our board wanted to maintain the 60% green space. And in that project, there will be neighborhoods. And within those neighborhoods, what we required is for them to set aside 10% for sustainable housing. And so instead of it all being placed in one place, each neighborhood 10% had, and it's deed restricted. And so it's exciting. I know it's a change for Bunnell, but it's, as we talked about earlier, about economic growth. We need that. That's the only way that we're going to be able to afford additional infrastructure.
Do we have a labor force we're talking about all these jobs and, 1,000 here and all these or whatever. We have an older community here, but do we have a labor force to fill these jobs?
See, that's what they were talking about earlier. They are bringing in industry that individuals will need housing.
And right now we have about 17,000 people that leave our county every day to find employment elsewhere. So this is a great opportunity to keep those people here working in our community.
Okay, all right. So businesses, they go, well, hey, if I move my factory there or I got to be able to fill the jobs. And so right now, do we have an available? So you're saying, well, we got 17,000 people that would rather work here. Is that kind of it?
Yeah, and when we work with these prospects, we provide to them not just the people within our community, but within the close vicinity. People travel all the time for work, and we need to find opportunities to keep people here. When kids go away to school, whether it's a trade school, college, or otherwise, there's nothing for them to come back here. So we need to create those opportunities and reduce the tax burden on the residential people.
And real quick, the Blackhawk helicopter repair facility at the airport?
Correct. That's about a $2 million project. They're relocating out of South Florida. They're currently in Broward and Pompano Beach. But we've got a lot of other new and exciting things that we're working on at the airport, also with the state of Florida, through Space Florida and through the Department of Commerce.
I mean, you kind of look at, sometimes when you live somewhere, you take a lot of things for granted. But you look at the diversity that Flagler County has. Yes. We've got beautiful beaches. We've got rail. We've got plenty of available land out west. What's happening? We've got Palm Coast. It goes above and beyond with parks and recreation. And we have a great, this weekend is the Cracker Rodeo at the fairgrounds. So we have good agricultural. And, and we talk about economy and that. We don't really ever give credit to our agricultural businesses in West County. How much does that contribute to the success of Flagler County? The cabbage and the bok choy. I won't bring up our bok choy. We did a bok choy festival that failed miserably because nobody knew what it was. But we do grow a lot of it here. So how important is our agricultural economic base?
I think it's very important, not just to Flagler County, but the state of Florida in general. When you look at the amount of land that is being converted from ag to residential or commercial development, we need to worry about sustaining a food supply in this country. And so I think it's important that we preserve and protect that ag area. And one of the things that we're trying to do at the county is actually work with some of the landowners through conservation easements. They have a program through the state, and we have our ESL program, but it's really to be able to protect that land so that we can continue to grow product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be nice if Florida was self-sufficient, and we have our own fuel depot here. We have all our own farmers, and we have cattle. We grow more stuff in Flagler County than people have any idea. It's more than potatoes and cabbage and blueberries, and we grow cows and pigs and the livestock, and we're almost like a little country within our own here. If we can all get along and do some good things. So.
Well, that's what I always say, David, is that basically we have a choice of growing a garden or either growing a weed patch. And so when we are working together and really laying out how we want this to happen, I think we can have a balanced, diverse community, which is a very healthy community.
Yeah. Well, personally, I think it's great to see you guys all get along together, our cities and our counties. And as a business person, I know that's important to them when they look at a community. Because if there's infighting and, stupid stuff going on, it's like, I don't have the time. I don't want to. It increases the risk, and there's other places I could go. So I think the harmony and everybody in the same way trying to help each out and protect, because the interests of Bunnell are different than the interests of Flagler Beach. But yet we're all in this together, and if we can all help each other out, that would be cool. So what about what's up with your beach plan here, where we're trying to convince the city of Palm Coast to approve it, where you can do a supermajority vote and we just raise sales tax a little bit and the beaches are done? Where are we at on that one?
Well, I think it's important to remember what we're protecting, and it's not just the property, right? It's the quality of life. It's the reason why many people moved here. It is an economic driver because tourism in the state of Florida is probably our #1 industry. When you look at what the beach provides or tourism provides, it's about $890 million a year in economic impact. And when I talked to Amy from tourism, she had said about half of it comes from the beach. So essentially what we're trying to protect is a $445 million economic impact because of the beach. And so we're trying to come up with $12 million a year to protect $445 million a year. Tourism is 23% of our workforce in Flagler, so we need to protect those jobs. So we are still in the process of working things through with the cities. It's not really scheduled to come back to our board until probably May or June. So between now and then, we will continue to work with the cities, looking at draft interlocal agreements on how that relationship can be. I know I just talked to Lauren last night, and we have a strategy and some things that hearing some of the concerns from the cities of what they would like to see, and we'll work through that and then present a draft interlocal to them during a workshop.
Alvin, what's Bunnell? Because you're part of that, would be part of the agreement. What's your stand on the Heiti plan?
Well, my commission, mayor and commission, was really open to it, and I think we have a go forward strategy. We just haven't sat down with Heidi and her team, but I think we're going to be in the mix.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, very good. And so the Palm Coast City Council has to vote for that, and like you say, it's the Flagler County Commission is going to take the political arrows, because if they get their supermajority vote, then it's done deal, right?
Right, and we are working together not only as managers, but also the electeds are working really well together on this economic vitality and bringing our community forward. But the additional revenue that would come in would help Palm Coast in many of our deficits, right? We often hear about the conditions of our roads and wanting to fund additional things for public safety or making various improvements to Palm Coast infrastructure.
All right, I'm going to give everybody final word. I know we're way over time, and you've got a meeting with the union, right? We don't want to get them mad because you're late, so blame me for that one. Alvin Jackson, final words from you.
Hey, this is exciting times in Flagler County, and in particular Bunnell. So really appreciate the partnership with my manager colleagues. We do work very well together, and for us, this is a regional approach and not a political subdivision approach.
I'm holding up to the camera Alvin's book, by the way, bestseller. I don't know if it is, but you autographed mine, so it's one in my thing there. So.
It's your bestseller, and
it's called It Is Another Great Day.
Yes.
So all right. Final words, Lauren Johnston. I just call you city manager because you've been acting way too long.
Right.
Anyway,
we want community wins. Let's win together. And really, let's be open for business. Let's bring in this investment into our community that can spur our economic vitality. And go Gators.
All right, very good. Okay, Heidi Petito, our county administrator.
Just always appreciate the opportunity to inform the community of what we're working on. A lot of times it's behind closed doors and they don't know. Definitely appreciate the partnership that we have with our cities, and we have so many amazing opportunities facing Flagler County that we just really need to support that growth and that commercial development. So thank you. Have a great weekend.
All right, very good. Jorge, any words of wisdom from you?
David, thank you for allowing us to share the great work that is happening in collaboration with the other communities here, city managers. And it's one avenue for our residents to hear the project we're working on, because sometimes they're busy with their family lives. They don't have time to attend our meetings, but this is a good forum for them to hear what we're working on.
Okay. And if you heard part of this, so right now we're streaming live. We have cameras in here, so you can see what Lauren Johnston really looks like up close, and everybody else in here. And Brian, he's, he has his own.
I keep spinning, and I have to keep reminding myself to stop doing that, so I don't look like a little kid on the video. But
so if you're, today's show, if you're listening to it live on the radio, you got it. We also podcast it, the entire thing. If you want to hear back to it or share it with friends, and oh my God, did you hear what they said? Whatever, you can hear them directly. So we also stream it live video. We're streaming right now on our WNZF Facebook page. Also live on the Flagler Radio YouTube channel, and on smart speakers in homes. Hey Alexa, play WNZF, and she'll do it for you. And anyway, and then the podcast, and so you can watch it, see it. So I think it's content distribution. Brian, we talk about that with media, keeping a community informed firsthand, and so. Final words from you.
Well, if you ever do I'll do a little commercial for the Observer too. But the if you ever do a bok choy, if you ever do a bok choy, a second annual bok choy festival, the Observer will buy a booth for you to, so we can promote the Observer. But we did actually the Observer's free all around the community. You can read all the news online for free. But if you want it on your driveway, we just reduced the price to be, instead of $79 a year, it's now $1 a week, $52 a year. So we actually we haven't even really told people other than putting it on the, in the paper, but we had some people sign up for it yesterday because of that. So if you want to support the paper and get it on your driveway and not miss an issue, it's $52 a week now if you want to go on and do that. Also, we have people want a small community. Unfortunately, I mean, it really only is going to stay small. I mean, people are going to go to great places that are small. So it's kind of hard to keep it small, unfortunately, unless it's not that great a place to go. So sometimes I think we have to live with some of the growth. And I'm glad it grew in 2010 because that's when I moved here. I mean, I'm glad I'm a part of the community here. So everyone who moves here is part of the growth when it comes down to it. And I think, be good neighbors to each other.
Yeah, so. I agree. And like I say, we're very blessed on it. Hey, next week we have the St. Johns River Water Authority. And let me tell you, I already asked them, we have plenty of drinking water. Flagler County, that is not a problem, not an issue at all. So don't worry about